Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. It's Chelsea Whittington with Whitt Sessions on Monday, December 23rd, the eve before the eve.
I know, yeah.
I am so excited to be here with an innovative, amazing individual who has some very important information to share with us today. So welcome to Whitt Sessions. What is Whitt Sessions? I'm so glad you asked. The Whitt Session is a pop-up Facebook Live video in a pop-up location with a surprise guest. And we had started to do this on Friday. And then we thought better to say, well, people are probably out in the hustle and bustle, starting their weekends, and we wanted to maximize the audience of who's going to really learn about what you have to say today. So we decided to move it to Monday, and now here we are in a pop-up location. You probably can tell in the background.
Anybody who's been to City Hall can totally tell that we're here right now.
City Hall. Thanks, Mayor, for letting us use a quick conference room to have this conversation. But I am live with Jordan Wilson. And for those of you who don't know Jordan from just different past lives, she is wrapping up her tenure as the city's first daughter.
Very true.
Daughter of Mayor Karen Freeman Wilson. But today we are talking about something far more important today, because it is about the venture that you have embarked upon with a co-founder during your time spent outside.
Shout out my co-founder, Winkuni Sion.
Shout out, partner. We'll talk more about her. But when I first read about the app that you and your team had created, I was like, duh, we should have had this so much longer. So let's just start the conversation with you talking about politicking. The name of the app is Politicking. If you're watching, go ahead, pull out your smartphones, Google it, download the app while we're talking about it. And you're on, Jordan.
Yes. Hi, everybody. My name is Jordan Wilson. I'm the co-founder of Politicking. And please download it right now across any iOS or Android platforms. Politicking is a service to some candidates to make themselves known, to clarify any misunderstandings about their candidacies, and quite frankly, for some people just to introduce themselves to voters who are in a race. But for voters, Politicking is a social political platform to learn about elections. Simply put, a lot of people, especially millennials, don't have access to centralized election information. It's not our fault if we're ignorant. And many times I have been walking into a voting booth to who folks are at the bottom of the ballot, especially, and then what those issues are, ballot referendums. I'm not a full-time Gary resident, but I am still a Gary resident. And so in any given election, when there's a ballot referendum, you know, I kind of scratch my head. I'm like, I've been around full-time. I don't know what's going on, but for anybody who's like me, or just for anybody who might not know what's happening with elections, through and through, Politicking is the tool you will need and can use to inform yourself on what's happening, you know, and not just on election day, but like throughout the election cycle. We have 15 plus candidates in the presidential race this year, and that cannot possibly be helpful to figuring out who you want to support in the general election or the primary election. And so Politicking is a tool that's completely helpful to helping people, you know, really fix themselves towards a candidate based on their issue stances.
And not just
based on
name recognition
or not based on, you know, whatever trivial matters might lead some people to vote for certain candidates. If you do end up voting for someone, you know, just on a whim, then, you know, that's kind of your prerogative. But Politicking certainly minimizes the chances that will happen, or any excuse that you might have in terms of not really being able to access the information and educate yourself.
This is such a wonderful concept, because I'll be very honest. There have been times that I've gone into a polling booth and, like, you know, the top races. Like, I know who I'm going to vote for mayor, my council person. And you get down to, like, the judges. And it's like, if you've never been before a judge, or if you haven't followed what their voting, how their stances are, it's kind of like, all right, I heard about this one. I'll just go ahead and reelect. And that's not the way.
And even like, so I, you know, would sort of talk to different people throughout this election, because this past local election was an excellent case study into a lot of education that voters lack, and it's not their fault. They really do not know. A lot of candidates present themselves to stand or represent an issue that they realistically do not. I mean, that's just kind of the way it is. And so, a lot of people were ignorant on the facts, who folks were. And then some people, like, I would talk to them about the election. They knew, of course, that my mom was running, but they did not know that anybody else was running.
Right.
So, like, it's kind of...
In a way, that was good, but at the same time...
Yeah, at the same time. And, it kind of is what it is. As politicking continues to gain prominence, I really do hope I'll see a lot less elections when folks are tricked into believing that a candidate will push forward an issue that they probably won't.
Mm-hmm. And the thing about the presidential election, let's talk about that a little bit. You said 15 candidates, but we were on the radio
That's a rough
morning.
Number too, yeah.
We were just talking about you only see 6 on the stage, and in debates for the simple fact that it's about money. And that's the part that troubles me. I wish that John Q. Citizen could run for president and not be voted on only because they have enough money to be able to buy the advertising. I wish there were a way that it was clear across the board, fair, that people could have their voices heard, but it's definitely pay to play. So what is it about politicking and the different attributes of the app that help people to understand who's running, what they voted on, what their history is, all those things in the app?
Yeah, there are 2 things I want to highlight, but the first thing, to your direct point, the DNC has put some restrictions that are really unhelpful to candidates who can't pull a lot of big dollar donors, who will help them get the numbers that they need to qualify for certain debates. But the thing about politicking is that state and local races are more important, in my opinion, than a lot of those general elections, presidential elections. And so we inform voters on who candidates are. We help them understand, who the person is that will dictate the way your school boards are operating, who the person is that will dictate the way City Hall is operating, and so many of those very important services. And so although we can't directly change what the DNC has imposed upon each candidate, we certainly can help voters understand that trying to find a candidate in that pool and maybe not finding one that you love on stage doesn't necessarily mean that you don't have a large voice in a lot of those races that affect your day-to-day lives.
Sure.
And then to speak to your larger question, politicking has a feature that's incredibly important called electorate, that helps voters understand who candidates are matched up against each other. And so what electorate does is help users understand where candidates stand on the issues, and really gives them a space to match who's the person that says they want to consolidate the police force, and who's the person that says they want to receive funding for the police force, through another
the stance of the candidates.
The stance of the candidates. Another thing we do is help users understand what a vote yes or vote no means for ballot referendums, which is important. Again, like, this is something that I walk into the poll and I'm kind of like, what does this issue actually stand for? And so politicking allows users to do that. Another thing that we really support is for users just to tap into the general political sphere from whatever sort of, level of engagement they're operating at. So this could be like the utmost politico, and this could be somebody who's like, I really don't like politics, it's sketchy. The special thing about politicking is it demystifies the political process for folks at every level. For someone who's grown up in politics, and who, is really informed or considers herself informed, I really don't know everything there is about politics, and even a lot of people ask me questions about this. I'm like, I cannot keep track of everything.
Right.
But there is an app in politicking that does keep track of everything and is operated to scrap data and news from everywhere throughout the cycle, so that, for any particular issue or just if you're yearning for a general scope, you have that in politicking.
That is so amazing. If you're just tuning in, you're watching Whitt Sessions. I'm with Jordan Wilson, a co-creator of the Politicking App. And I want to spell it out so that if you're looking for it, it's POLITICKING.
Yes.
Politicking.
Yes.
And it's politickingapp.com.
For the website.
For the website.
Download the app, it's just politicking.
I have it on my phone.
Yeah.
And I think the cool thing about it is it's not just for millennials, although it was created by millennials, and it makes all the sense in the world. I mean, who has time to subscribe to every newspaper, to go to every news service and try to whittle down, okay, what's going on in this race, in this state? And this app is doing it for you. So you have to go back and tell me, how did you all come up with the idea? Was it like one of those intellectual conversations in the library?
We came up with it really wasn't. Both of us, my co-founder and I are both Howard grads, but it wasn't.
HU?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But it wasn't, actually, Chelsea, you're like probably the first Howard alum that I really had a thorough conversation with about the prospects of going to the school. But the app didn't originate from some sort of theoretical or professorial conversation. It really started because after the November 2016 election, my co-founder and I were talking about how much frustration we'd had with not knowing enough about who and what was on the ballot during that day. Of course, we knew all about Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. They were all over the news. But we did, seriously, I did not know who some of the people were at the bottom of the ballot. She felt the same way about, what her ballot looked like. And then we understood that a lot of that was because the tools that polling precincts use are really outdated. Since they're so antiquated and overcomplicated for some people, it will almost make you weary about the process. We felt like that as two Howard graduates and realized that civic competency wasn't a intelligence test. It really is not. It really represents the fact that the information is not easy to find, and so
and you wonder, is that on purpose?
Yeah, but conspiracy theories aside, we were like, we need to be proactive about this. We can't see another election go by where people are struggling to figure out what is actually being asked of them to pick a candidate. And so with that, we decided to start politicking, and it's been hitting the ground running with getting the idea started. We were able to be featured in Forbes. We've been featured in Bustle. Thank you. In a number of other publications for what we're doing to be proactive about promoting civic education, civic competency, and really galvanizing voters, but millennial voters, to participate in every election.
So talk a little bit about your team. I know you had your co-founder. And so I have had the privilege to sit in on a couple of their conference calls. And let me tell you, these young people are thorough. I just kind of put my call on mute. I said, let me just listen and educate myself. But you have different people in different levels doing different things.
It's still a relatively small team. So my co-founder and I are operating most of Politicking's business day to day. We have a board of lovely advisors. We actually were talking to one of our members of our board now, Richard Leverett, who's a Northwest Indiana lobbyist for AT&T, and really just a dynamic group of people. My mom even advises most of our immediate team board meetings. And, we have a social media team. We also it's very important to have the technology side of the team. So
to update the app when needed, any bugs that need to be.
Any bugs. So we have our developer, both for the app and for the website. And then we have a host of folks who help us gather and scrap the information and news that's on the app and that we use throughout our social media clippings. As a matter of fact, I'll give a plug to our Instagram. If you haven't already followed the page, please like the page, but I'll give a plug to our Instagram, which is Politicking, the app, and Twitter, it's Politicking App.
Everybody, please follow this app, but more important, download it. Now, I also know that with anything, operation and function of an app, it takes money.
It takes money. We're currently fundraising now. We did a Indiegogo campaign that was really successful. We raised over $12,000 this summer, but that's not going to get us to where we need to be in terms of creating a platform that everyone can access. It doesn't matter what city, county, or state they live in. And so with that, we are currently still in the family and friends round. of investing, but no dollar amount is too large.
So how would somebody donate if they're watching now and they say, I believe in this app and this cause to get us educated as voters? What do they need to do?
Hit me up, number one. And for, there's no dollar amount to what I'll be willing to have a conversation about, but particularly for those angel investments, which we consider to be around the 10,000 range and up. I've been setting up a number of meetings throughout the course of the last year, and definitely throughout even my trip home. I've reached into my network here, especially those people who love politics, to help a tool that will revolutionize politics. And
you, Jordan, are on the cusp of something amazing, right?
I appreciate that.
And I want you to just be prepared for that one person in this one place somewhere that sees one of these videos and all the things that you're doing and saying, we want to go full throttle with you and take this app to just unknown heights. And so I just want you to be ready for that. You saw it here on Whitt Sessions, because I don't think there's an app that mirrors what
there's not. There's not. Our competitors have useful information, but it's not comprehensive. And politicking is useful in so many places. The poll, the election cycle. Today, if you're not focused on a certain election, you can still use politicking to look up, what is going on with Donald Trump in the impeachment? What's going on with criminal justice reform? What's happening with how Congress is moving forward, moving voting rights forward. These are all issues, and certainly not conclusive of the issues that you can use politicking for. I'm gonna plug my phone in my computer in. I don't want it to die on us.
Don't let her computer die. We are actually broadcasting from like 3 or 4 different channels. So I'm gonna definitely upload this to YouTube. So those of you who are watching and say, well, I gotta run, Chelsea, I definitely want you to come back over here too, everybody. Jordan's live, I'm live, Whitt is live. And again, I'm asking you to please download the app. It's Politicking, Politicking. No, wait a minute. Politicking. Politicking. And then it's an app, and it's available both on Android and iPhone platforms. And I have it on my main page. I get my updates on political news. I get what's going on in various races. And when Jordan comes back over here, we're going to talk specifically about how this app will be important to the whole overall presidential election. Like she said, there's news going on with the impeachment hearings. And so there's so much that when we're on the go that we don't know about. And so politicking, you can click on your phone and say, what's the latest news? What's going on with this race? And that's why I am encouraging you, and especially those of you who are my Gary natives. I mean, we have a young person who's from, you need me to come over a little bit.
Sure,
we have a young person who's from Gary, and she has co-founded something that is amazing. She's revolutionized with an app. And I think I know we need to support you.
Thank you,
And it's free. Is it a free download?
It's a free app, you don't pay for politicking. As a matter of fact, we give you a lot of information that I think is valuable beyond $0, but we teach users, we create a profile essentially that's a voter card based on your precinct, based on your state district, based on your congressional district, also that personalizes the information that you've been sort of engaging with. And we use it for the purposes of aggregating data that would be helpful to you to learn about each election, and then also for the purposes of being able to log into politicking really click on what information that you've been really interested in, especially at the polls, and sort of getting straight through the ballot.
Well, I have to ask you this. Those of us who know you, and just about everybody knows that you are the daughter of Mayor Karen Freeman Wilson, formerly Attorney General, Judge. So like you said, you grew up in the shadow of politics.
Definitely.
What would you say your mother's career, her words of advice and just her overall, just the things that she has accomplished had on your bearing of the development of this app and anything that may lead to political aspirations, not necessarily running for office, but just changing the landscape of what politics looks to the average person.
She's not a quitter, and like that is the way I am in business, particularly with politicking. But you know, she's not a quitter, and that's a lesson that she has instilled on me very early on, and that I've learned throughout her career. Another thing is that she is a listener, and so that's something that's incredibly important to politicking in order for people to trust us with their political opinions and for people to trust us with their dollars. In many cases, we have to be aware of their expectations and how we'll be able to meet them. And really, we have to create a strategy around that, working with people. And so that's something that I think she does, if not better. That's something that she does better than anyone I know. And to many people, that's something that she does better than a lot of people that they know. And so, you know, those are the things. And then I think that the most important thing that I've learned from her is to lead with, like, a lot of people kind of have to take a minute to process what this means, but you understand it directly. You really have to lead with love.
Yes.
If you're not doing what you love, if you don't love the people that you're working with, it really is going to be an uphill battle every day.
Yes.
But that's something that I've learned from her is, you know, be a leader who loves what you're doing and loves who you're doing it for.
All right. Well, shout out to our man.
Yeah, shout out to her.
Yes.
And I'm so proud. You know, I know a lot of people are kind of like, how do you guys feel? We feel proud. We feel excited for obvious reasons. But, you know, I'm absolutely proud. I couldn't have imagined her doing a better job.
Yeah.
I really cannot.
Yeah. And I feel like everything has its season.
Yeah.
You know, we were first disappointed back in May, and then we thought about it like 8 years. That was a lot of time. That's a lot of time.
It's one of those things, you know, I think there are so many reasons why it's going to take a minute. Because some people get it, but some people really are lacking maybe the insight that it takes to process how much you guys have gotten done.
Ooh,
you guys got a lot done.
8 years is a long time. And even though I wasn't there the whole 8 years, I was there.
You were there. You were always there. People are it's not going to happen again. It's just not.
Legacy.
So, I mean, you know, that may sound crazy to some people, but that will never happen again. I mean, ever. Yeah. Great things will continue to happen, but you don't get a leader and a team like that ever.
Well, we made history. She made history, and now you are poised, following in her footsteps because you are now in law school. Where are you in law school?
I'm a 1L at Boston College Law School.
How's it going?
It's going well. It gives me a lot of insight into working on politicking, contracts, and especially civil procedure, which deals with elections and how people litigate them, is incredibly important to me. The whole reason that I am in law school, quite frankly, is because I want to learn about the political landscape with regards to the law.
Good.
And how people navigate election litigation, how people navigate civic tech startups. All of that stuff is really important to me and maybe not so surprising to you. I'm taking an elective starting in January called municipal lawyering.
Oh,
and
wow.
So, yeah, but I'm
you should get an A in that.
Yeah, I know. I really am like a nerd about, you know, politics.
Well,
yeah.
You are in the right field with the right app at the right time. Before we sign off, I have to talk about your community involvement this week and always. So just because Jordan is not a full-time citizen here, it does not mean that she doesn't care about her community.
Absolutely.
So over the weekend, you had a Code of Confidence event.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that and how
it was dynamic. I mean, it puts a smile on my face to see women feel confident. And the whole point of Code of Confidence is to donate brand new or gently used coats. And I'm like, my real requirement about it is that the coats are cute.
Okay. Oh, you gotta keep it cute.
Yeah, because I want people to feel fly. And so it was a really good event. And years to come, I hope to see the number of attendees apply or multiply, you know, tenfold, because it really was nice to see the women who came in and enjoy themselves. We had food, we had music, we engaged in fellowship with them.
That's awesome.
And we were able to provide them with coats. I think people underestimate how hard it is to find clothes that make you feel good, and confident about yourself. I love fashion. And
girl after my
and you do too.
I do.
But everybody doesn't have the means. Everybody doesn't have the time, or even know where to go to really put things together to make themselves feel good. And so, Code of Confidence is something that the community can count on every year for women to receive quotes that make them feel good about themselves, that are free of charge. They can come in and get a nice brunch and just kick back and relax.
Well, I definitely will make it the next time. Anybody who knows me, many times I kind of get a little triple,
but I
have some coats I'm bringing.
It's all good, and I will say this too. It's a learning lesson for folks who are who have a lot of experience in this. No one really of course we have the support of my mom, you all, but we really don't have help with that every year. It's my friends and I. So we're learning as we go, and I'm always just shocked in the best way that it's a success. Cause I'm we're newbies. We don't really know what we're doing.
Awesome. But that's I think another thing that you pull from your mom and your dad about being a servant and knowing that being able to give back to your community is one of the best things that you could ever do. So you're still accepting coats. Please tell our viewers
coats,
because I have some coats.
Yeah, the best way you can do it is to...
And they're cute.
Yes, for those of you who don't have my number, it would be best to send me a message on Facebook. I'm dropping them off tomorrow morning.
Or you can inbox me too.
Or you can inbox Miss Chelsea, yes. And then we'll get them to Women in Need.
Okay. Well, you have been tuned in to Whitt Sessions, a pop-up interview.
Thank you guys for joining us. Yeah.
Yes, I'm so happy that you were able, as soon as you came home, we touched down, did your nonprofit event, and now you're here with me because I need people to know about politicking. If you get the Whitt sauce, you'll see that the Politicking app lives in the sauce. So you can scroll down and click on that link and take you to
that.
Oh, seriously. No problem. I understand the importance of educating ourselves on a variety of topics. And that's what I seek to do with the sauce, with Whitt Sessions, and with my various clients that I promote. And so I'm proud to have Jordan as one of my clients, and the team that she has in place is amazing.
Thank you.
And I'm asking all of you who are looking on all of these cameras that we're looking at to please support her by downloading the app. Also donate some coats, inbox me if you have a few gently used coats so that I can get them to her within the next day or so. But Jordan, it has been my honor.
It's been my honor to work with you and just talk to you and get advice and guidance from you. Seriously, I mean, you are a force in your field. I mean, it's good to work with someone who's good at what they do, but your work is taken to a different level when you work with someone who is the person in the field, and that's definitely you. Seriously,
I love what I do, and I wish you and your team nothing but success.
Thank you,
and a happy holiday.
Thank you. Happy holidays to everyone.
Everybody, we're signing off.
Please don't forget to download
and
Politicking.
We'll see you at the next Whitt session. I'll see you the next
Whitt
section.
See ya.
Bye.
That was